News is that Iran themselves have come out and laid out details around the peace deal that's going to happen, starting with, I believe, a 60-day ceasefire, which is good news. But before the peace deal actually happened, right, there were some talking heads who said Israel was the one who wanted to escalate and got between the two countries from actually coming to a deal and wanted to escalate the war. And then there were others who said that both of our political parties were involved and they sold out the American people and wanted to continue the war. If you listen to what PBD had to say, which was the best, I think, we'll get into it. But under all this, while all this was going on, there were actually facts that said something completely different. And we'll get on it as well. Let's get right into it.
I feel bad for the Iranian people, straight up. I think a deal's going to get done at some point. I mean, we've differed on when the date's going to be. To me, that's almost irrelevant. It's Trump's in no rush to do a deal, and nor should he be. I don't think, what's the famous phrase? Like, no deal is better than a bad deal. I think he understands that no matter what deal gets done, the details of the deal are almost irrelevant. Is Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, actually going to honor any deal whatsoever? That's the biggest question. What are they going to honor? We know for sure when this deal gets done, the people who are going to be living in the country will suffer. They've already suffered enough and they will continue to suffer.
All right, this is Adam, right, with the PBD podcast. To me, it doesn't sound like he is for the peace deal. To me, it sounds like he's more worried about the Iranian people, right? But what about the average American, right? What about the effects the war has had on the average American's wallets, bank accounts, how much they've been paying at the gas pumps, at the grocery store in turn? What happened to all of that? But if you look at his demeanor, his facial expressions, it's almost clear that he's kind of disappointed and he wanted the war to go on. He even came out and said, you know what, Trump needs to take his time with this peace deal. No deal, he said no deal is better than a bad deal. And then he also added on by saying, what's to say that the Iranian regime or the government is going to keep their end of the bargain? Well, if you take that argument, then no deal is going to be good enough, right? Then you might as well keep continuing the war. You might as well keep sending our boys there. There's only 14 service members dead now. You might as well keep adding the bodies, keep spending our tax dollars there. Anyways, let's keep going.
One of the biggest losers, one of the biggest things that disgusted me, I'm not surprised, but it disgusted me, are the war hawks like the Ted Cruz, the Lindsey Graham.
Can you pull up Ted Cruz's tweet?
Yep.
And
Mike Pompeo, Lindsey Graham. It's almost as if, Pat, these demons are pissed off at peace, like tweeting and trying to undermine.
You know, if they're demons, maybe that's just their values. Maybe like Ted Cruz to me, is not a demon.
If you're
just Ted Cruz he wants this thing to be done. He wants a war. He wants boots on the ground.
Yeah,
right?
He wants people to die.
Perfect. No, well, I understand, but to me, there's two different things, Vinny. For us to jump and just say they're demons, I'm going to read the tweet, and I want you to give your.
I don't think he's necessarily a demon, Pat, but what is his soul captured by and who is he answering to?
Not the one you and I are free of.
100%.
But guess what? That's his choice.
Very true. But
That's his choice.
But I think you are serving something big. If I'm serving Jesus Christ and God, Pat, and you're serving something else, even if you're blindly and you don't know and your soul's captured, you're a soldier for the devil. I throw the word demon, but Pat, if your attitude, not you, if their attitude is, boots on the ground, I don't care. They need to figure out regime change.
I agree. Yeah. That I fully.
Now, Vinny here, comes out right, full on Bible mode and says they're all demons. Too funny. Yeah, you know what? Even PBD had to step in if you saw there, but he wouldn't budge. He's convinced that these guys are evil who want to keep the war continued. You know, and I'm kind of on Vinny's side, right? Amongst everything he said with the demon and all that, he did make a very good point. He said, why do we have to figure it out for Israel? Why can't Israelis do it themselves, right? And if you take that point a little bit further, right, when they always say, but what about the Iranian people? We'll feel bad for the Iranian people. To me, it just sounds like a justification to keep the war going. It's a shield, right? It's a pretense almost. That, you know what, they'll say that, and in the heart of hearts, they actually mean let's keep the war going. And the whole time, right, none of them have said, let's not put any boots on the ground, or Iran needs to figure it out. Why is it always America? And then they keep saying America should finish what they started. If America started it, why can't they finish the way Americans want? And the leader of the American country right now, the United States, is Donald Trump. So he gets to finish it with the peace deal. And that should be okay with everyone at that point, right? Anyways, let's keep going.
To this place to have an endless war. It's just not what I believe in. So maybe someone, what is the likelihood that a night he's by himself, quiet, somebody that he values, he just comes in and says, hey, just out of curiosity, Donald, person that could call him Donald, one of those people.
Okay.
Do you really want to extend this war? No. Is this really that important to you? We can't have them have nuclear weapons. I get it, but do you really, really want to extend this war? Was never part of your plan. No, it's not. Well, why don't we just get the enriched uranium out, get a 20-year contract, and then let the next guy.
Now PBD here himself, right? What a masterclass in spinning. He does it so smoothly, you don't even know what hit you, right? He does this role play thing where he's the one asking the question and he's the one responding or answering the questions. And then while he's doing that, he's actually walking you down this path that you don't even know what the hell hit you. There's someone talking to the president that's actually close enough to the president that can call him Donald. And the guy says, hey, Donald, is this war? Is this what you really want? You want to extend the war? No. Is this really that important? No, but I do want the I don't want them to have the nuclear weapons. Okay, so let's just get the uranium and get a 20-year contract and pass it down to the next guy. What do you mean it's not that important? It better be that important. 14 people died. 14 kids died. They had families. If it wasn't that important, what the hell were we doing? Not just that, what the hell were we doing with risking the economy, risking a recession? Right? What the hell were we doing if it wasn't that important about causing so much damage to our allies in the Middle East? Why did we risk the oldest relationships that we had with our allies all over the world? What were we doing if it wasn't that important? It better have been that important. Anyways, let's keep going.
Those peace negotiations over the weekend entirely fake? We're going to try to find out. It was funny how the Uniparty came to the rescue of Israel when it looked like we might get to peace for a second. All of a sudden, both Republicans and Democrats all over TV go, no, we got to have more war for Israel.
All right, on the other hand, we have Cenk. As usual, he comes out saying that initially he said that, you know what, Israel was standing in the way of the peace deal and didn't want the peace deal to happen and they wanted the war to continue. Then he also said, or he spinned it, that that the shooting that just recently happened at the White House or near the White House, he actually said that was Israel sending a message to Trump, like in the old days with the mob in those movies, right? Sending a message or giving him a deal that Trump couldn't refuse. What? Oh my God, whatever. Let's keep going. All right, we saw here again, Cenk is way off. He's more off than he's usually, but the truth is actually hiding in plain sight, and these guys just can't see it. I don't know if they can't see it. I don't know if they don't know that what's happening. I'm sure they do, right? If I read, they read. But the truth is somewhere in the middle there. But let's keep going and see what the truth actually tells us, right? The Iranian negotiators are in Qatar. When I say negotiators, who do I mean by them? I mean Pezeshkian, Aragji, and Ghalibaf. These are just not your average negotiators, right? Pezeshkian is the president, I believe. They aren't just regular cabinet members either. There's some high-level post holders there. They are in Qatar. Why would they be in Qatar? Qatar is usually known for international peace talks, right? I think they've had a couple of rounds with the Russia and Ukraine war as well. But why were they in Qatar? Why did they risk their lives in the middle of a war while there's war going on? What are they doing in Qatar? All right, let's keep going. Reports were surfacing while all this was going on that IRGC is actively working to undermine these negotiations. On one side, you have the negotiators in Qatar. On the other hand, reports are surfacing that IRGC is actively working to undermine these negotiations, that they have been also engaging in protection racket, of course, the old mob style, right? More into what the IRGC has been up to. Reports consistently confirm that President Pezeshkian attempts to appoint key officials like the intelligence minister, have been vetoed by the IRGC commander, specifically naming Ahmad Vahidi. This is direct evidence of a civilian government being hollowed out. That means IRGC is actively trying to consolidate power from the government into the IRGC. When it comes to the internet, President Pezeshkian's been ordered the restoration of the international internet access, yet it remains partially restricted. You might as well say mostly restricted. This confirms he is making the order that the security apparatus, IRGC, is effectively choosing to ignore. Now, why do you think that is? What do you think that tells you? What does that sound like? To me, it sounds like an internal power struggle between the IRGC and the conventional government. The IRGC is actually trying to take away power from the government, not appoint ministers and such things. So the more responsibility lies within the IRGC, consolidation of power. See, before the IRGC was part of the system. After the old Ayatollah died, I think IRGC now wants to become the system, become the de facto government. Now let's keep going and let's keep connecting the dots. Before this peace deal happened, Rubio was in India and the Eastern Hemisphere, was going to attend the upcoming Quad Summit meeting, right? But while he's there, Donald Trump calls an emergency meeting of his cabinet at Camp David. Again, Mark Rubio is there, but Donald Trump doesn't wait for him to come back. He still orders an emergency meeting at Camp David. Why do you think that meeting was called in such a rush while the negotiators were in Iran? What does that kind of tell you? Coincidence? I don't think so. What is Camp David known for historically, right? Historically known for high-stake talks between nations. It could be us and another country or two other warring countries, or sensitive topics come up. I think even Yasser Arafat with the Palestinians has actually been there to discuss peace deals between Israel and the Palestinians back when he was in power. So that's what Camp David is actually known for. Qatar, on the other side, is also known for peace talks. Like they've had a couple of rounds between, like I said, Russia and Ukraine as well. As far as inside Iran, though, it feels like a civil war for powers going on. On one side, you have the government, which wants to do its duty, wants a peace deal. On the other side, you have the IRGC, who are more radical and want to kind of consolidate power away from the government and become the de facto government, right? Now, if you kind of think about it, you step back and kind of see what's happening. It's not that Iran doesn't want a peace deal. The problem is IRGC within the Iranian government is actually stopping them from the peace deal to happen. The reports are also out there that officials from the conventional government are actually giving intel to the Americans and the other side through channels of the locations and weapons caches and such things of the IRGC. They are so fed up with the IRGC and the Iranians want to come to some sort of a deal, some sort of a peace deal like they did this morning. And again, if you notice how that happened, they were in Qatar, emergency meeting. Hey, this was happening all along. People just missed it, right? Again, having said all that, I think these talking heads knew what was happening, but I think they were rage baiting, right? They wanted us to keep thinking that, hey, it's Israel. It sounds good on headlines, right? Oh no, it's the Republicans. Oh no, it's the neocons. You know what? No way. Both the parties got together and now selling the American people out. I think it's all rage baiting, right? They want us to keep fighting. So that's why they're not giving us all this information, so we can kind of sit down and deduce and see, okay, this is what's going on. So maybe we are closer to a deal than we're not, right? Anyways, guys, these are just my thoughts. Please let me know if I completely missed the point here, if I completely missed the mark here. I'm here to learn. But again, I think the breaking news earlier today that the peace deal, there is a peace deal, and Iran has come out and said, I think that's great. Peace is good, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for joining. Until next time, be safe, be happy. See you soon.